So, welcome to VNN, to our discussion series, episode number 17.
Oh, good.
We are aging well, eh? Anyway, I think today, of course, there's a little dearth of topics here because it's the same thing
It's a
coming
bit
out again.
quiet.
It's a bit quiet. Yeah. Things are quite accepted.
continuing on the same slow.
I think even on Indian TV channels also, here also the same thing. There's Ukraine, of course, and then there's a little quiet on this NDP liberal coalition. I don't know why there's not much of a discussion. So we should talk about that.
Yeah, first let's get on Ukraine itself.
Yeah, Ukraine, of course.
There's been noises made by both sides. Both sides want truce, but then right voices are made, and then there's a withdrawal. Then something is said.
That's very strange because 2 days ago, Zelensky said we want to have talks with Russia. We want to remain neutral, and we want ceasefire. Today he's changed this tack. He says no, we are going to fight till the end. We will defeat Russia. So his words are changing every day. So
It's true from the Russian side also. They also say sometimes, okay, this is our end point, but then they come back. Then you got this one of the republics asking for a referendum and joining.
There's elections coming up
now.
Russia said they'll hold elections.
Yeah, but today Zelensky says that the territorial integrity of Ukraine should not be disturbed. So all these things
that would involve Crimea also in that becomes a problem again.
I think somebody is being prompted by the Russians. The Russians have foolishly moved ahead. That I'll still maintain.
Yeah.
They could have done more negotiations.
Diplomatic could have arrived. Yes, we don't know.
But Zelensky, I don't know what his game plan is, or rather what Biden's game plan is, because I feel that he's more prompted by Western prompting as
something
to what to
something
say.
is going on which I think we don't know. Something behind.
We don't know because the media is totally swamped by propaganda,
right.
Western propaganda and the Eastern propaganda.
Yeah.
Either you hear the Russian version or the Western version, which are both heavily biased and heavily doctored. So getting a right perspective is getting very difficult to get. Apart from some Indian channels which are there in Kyiv but that's they're reporting is very sketchy.
Very sketchy.
Very sketchy. They are not.
The problem is, I mean, the city like Mariupol, it's a beautiful city. What we have seen in pictures.
Yes.
Now it's in ruins, total devastation.
Yes, but point is again they say that's the headquarters of that Azov brigade also.
Yes, but I think what Russia wants is to demolish Mariupol city altogether and make that as a bridge from Crimea to Russia.
Yeah.
So that they won't allow the city to be rebuilt again if Russia succeeds in this in what his mission is.
Russians, I don't think they'll have to make some compromises somewhere anyway, because they are stuck and they would need to extricate themselves. Hopefully Biden has an exit policy very soon, because Europe is suffering. The more the war continues, Europe will keep on suffering. Their supplies.
Today, Serbia said 2 days ago they do not want to supply weapons. They do not want to get involved in NATO. And Bulgaria today said there's call for peace. So I think the European nations are slowly saying, let us stop this war first.
Let us stop this war. That is the main thing. And once that happens, then discussions can start.
See, how can Putin extract himself without losing face? That's the main thing. He wants respect mainly. I think he doesn't want to be called names.
Something like Bashar al-Assad is still there in Syria, and the Taliban have got more promises. So Americans had to withdraw, leaving in control of.
So you think same thing will happen to Putin? They leave
I
Putin
don't
in
know.
charge.
I don't know. When Putin has made a mistake, he has to suffer. I would go with that.
Yeah, of course.
But to what extent to what extent the West is willing to let him go. I don't think West would any time agree for Putin to continue.
But Ukraine can never defeat Russia. That's not
possible. That's the whole problem. It's not the question of defeating. It's a stalemate already over there, and the war will continue. It'll keep on going on like the Americans in Vietnam, or the Americans or the Russians in Afghanistan. It'll continue
for years together.
At some stage, somebody has to withdraw, and withdrawal has to be done by the Russians.
By the Russians, ultimately, yes.
So that situation has to be there when Ukraine will remain a Ukraine, whether with Zelensky or somebody else. Now, this discussion has to be done amongst the new world leaders.
Tomorrow they are meeting in Turkey, so let us see what happens.
And Turkey has suddenly become a major interlocutor in this whole issue. But a post-war Chinese, in the post-war scenario, as you say, will be a different world order.
It will be. I don't think that one single superpower. I don't think that those days. Globalization will be affected.
Yeah, globalization will be affected. Russians will be out of picture for a long time.
We cannot leave Russia and countries like Russia and China out of the global system with sanctions and.
But
just left
earlier
out.
one would hear more of Russia than China. Later on, I presume, Chinese will be more in prominence than Russians, and the Chinese will flex their muscles in South China Sea and Taiwan, and let's see what happens out there.
And of course, in India, suddenly I think Modi has become more of an international figure now on the global stage. The Japanese Prime Minister was in India recently, signing for $40 billion worth of investment.
The Japanese were there, the Chinese
Australian Prime Minister had a virtual summit with Modi. Boris Johnson had a big virtual meeting with Modi. The Chinese Foreign Minister made a secret visit.
Secret visit, but he came. It was not a secret visit. It was.
They announced it. China did not announce it only after he returned to Beijing.
Maybe, but in India it was.
India did announce
he
it.
He sat in a press conference. No, I didn't. He didn't sit in a press conference. But
Jaishankar,
our External Affairs Minister had a.
And then, of course, those news reports in the Indian channel today that the Russian Foreign Minister is visiting Delhi. So we don't know what. The Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett is coming to India on a 3-day visit, so we don't know what that is being discussed.
Icing is that Imran Khan praised Indian foreign policy.
Yes, so that is very strange.
I saw him in dark glasses saying Bharat walon ne bahut acha kiya.
So we don't know what's happening now. These are all very interesting times and good times for Modi, I think,
Modi has done a very delicate balancing act. The Indian, I would commend the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar, on that also, because our abstentions have not been taken very lightly, and we are under, or the Indian government is under pressure to change its stance, but it has not. And therefore, it has maintained its link with Quad, maintained its link with the USA, maintained its link with
the European Union,
European link with Russia.
And Ukraine too.
Ukraine too, because in the beginning, Zelensky wanted Modi to intervene.
Yeah, I didn't know that India was among the first countries in the world to recognize Ukraine. After the Soviet Union broke up, India was the first country. It is a very, very important thing to consider. And of course, yesterday they were saying, contrary to what reports have said, Ukraine has never spoken bad about India anywhere. But I don't know why those things rumored.
No, I think it's documented. They've always voted against us and spoken against
Kashmir issue especially. I don't know why that happened. Maybe just to contradict Russia.
Nowadays the news is so much of tilted and so much of tinkered with that some statements here and there, they're all contradicting each other. We really don't know.
Yeah, so we'll leave Quad aside, anyway, that's a bit far away from us. And the war too, for the timing, unless a lot of Ukrainians, here there are about, I think, more than 1.8 to 2 million Ukrainians in Canada, so there's a lot of
there's a lot of support and
anxiety going on.
And we can see Prime Minister Trudeau doing all he can do for support of Ukrainians and opening the doors for the refugees.
But it's a very tragic situation.
The whole thing is the humanitarian angle. People are suffering, and what we see on television is a pathetic scene. It's a horrible scene. So let's hope it ends soon.
What's happening in Canada now? This NDP and the Liberal Party have come together, jumping into the same bed, and
the non-coalition, the coalition and
non-coalition.
Well,
they make very strange bedfellows.
That is always there. Many people have known this for a long time. But the point is, who is the man in the bed and the woman in the bed, and who?
But I mean, how do their ideologies converge? I don't know. At what point? Where are they? They say there are common points. Now
both are left of the center, one common point is
true,
there.
that is true.
One is pink, the other is red. But in my mind, developing or developed countries,
Yeah.
communism or right,
This sort of
extreme right, is an ideology which is alien to the society itself. Pink is all right because all of us, when we were growing up, we were leftists because
left-wing,
you
of
have
course. It's
ideology. You grow up and you see people
The utopian
in poverty.
ideals and
idealism
that's
is there. But slowly, as you grow older, you get mature,
become more realistic then.
more realistic.
Right.
So I don't see NDP gaining anything much out of it.
Hmm.
I think Trudeau has done a good job in getting his stability for the next so many years till the next election is coming. So, and he has assurance. He just has assurance, but you really don't know what NDP might do, how much Trudeau is able to deliver on the promises, because the promises are big. And all those promises will need expenditure. All those promises would mean deviating from the liberal, ideology, or rather their plans.
But like both will want to tax and spend anyway. So
Spend, but then who will pay? You and I,
somebody
the taxpayer, and ultimately people will start complaining, and then if people start complaining, the Republicans or the PC will get the advantage out of it.
yeah, like one of the conservative leaders said, NDP Jagmeet Singh sold himself to the Liberals to fix people's teeth. That's what he was saying. Because the first point in the document of that is dental care.
No, but then
So, we don't know.
being all fair with
that's-
for Jagmeet is the teeth and healthcare and taxing the rich and all these things. But
Yeah,
I don't know to what extent Trudeau will be able to satisfy the NDP electorate, and NDP will suffer, I think.
I think the NDP will be a loser in this coalition because the next elections
will be a bad
all
scene.
the credit, if anything good happens, credit will go to the Liberals.
Even today, if you see after the coalition, you haven't seen any sound made by other prominent NDP leaders.
Nobody. I don't think they are very
Everybody else
happy
has
with
been
this.
Quiet. I don't know. You are a journalist. You would know more. But then their silence speaks of something as to why a supporting speech or a supporting comment was not made by other NDP leaders. So we can leave it at that and let the time tell us as to what happens, because as it is a coalition, it's a non-coalition, and NDP can renege at any time without any compulsion.
But I don't know, but if he has agreed that he will support
there-
4
is-
budgets,
is-
I don't know if it's in writing or...
Is there a document? I
we
don't
don't
think there is a document, but he has agreed that he will not support any non-confidence move or any finance bill or something. So he will be always with them. But I don't know. These are verbal agreements, and verbal agreements.
Let's see, for a party that had leaders like Tommy Douglas and Ed Broadbent, Jack Layton, I think the NDP has it's been a come down for the party. So
Well,
it feels like
we wish for best for Canada, and at least if we have stability for the next till next election, and Trudeau is able to, by and large, satisfy both sides, he will be the biggest winner. But NDP will, in my view, be washed out by that time.
yeah, and Ontario NDP is also very quiet on this.
That's
No
the whole
silence,
thing.
yeah,
And,
silence.
nobody else from NDP has spoken anything. At least I haven't heard anything on them.
Yeah, so now, okay, now...
But then, being on Canada, I must congratulate the Canadians to reach the qualifying. When they'll be playing the World Cup. They'll be playing the World Cup, and will be enjoying the advantage of being there for the second time after 36 years, which will be a great, which has been, as a country which plays football.
They are in the World Cup now, yes.
They are in the World Cup. And that raises the question that why haven't Indians been able to get into the
Yeah,
World
why is that? I mean, I think it's played in every small street, in mohallas, everywhere you find people playing either cricket or soccer, especially in the northeast and in Kerala, Bengal. I think football, soccer is very popular.
You just touched the part of the problem is that cricket has taken over everything.
And they have the money, sponsors.
And the money and the sponsors. Football has never had support of any big big businesses or government even, which even though it's a much cheaper game, and when we were used to
Yeah, of
play
course.
during when we were small, playing football in summers was much easier because you just have to buy a football and a pump
That's it.
and play. But for cricket, you need to have a bat and a ball
Pads and
which needs to be replaced every 1 week,
pads
and then pads and
yeah.
everything, which was an expensive game. But
Everybody
still,
needed a kit, yeah.
but still we played cricket more than we played football. So that speaks how, right from the very beginning, a game which is more people-oriented is not being supported.
And hockey, gone. Nobody talks about hockey anymore.
Hockey is gone because the strategy changed, everything. Our main
AstroTurf came in and the
AstroTurf
field
and just took away everything from us, because our game was short passes. And the short passes were taken over by the long passes. You could hit from one
and the
corner.
Europeans took it over then.
Yeah, so that was taken over again. The brute strength also.
Yeah,
the
that's
stronger
true.
people.
Vegetarians eating dal and rice, they can't battle the
So
Europeans.
sports
That's
still
also-
has to do a lot of work in India to come at any international level, because even in Olympics we are getting stray medals here and there, but we are still to arrive in
I
Olympics.
think like in
also.
that film Dangal, they showed that these girls, they were eating dal and chawal. So this, they have to eat chicken.
Chicken,
So
yeah.
they have to be given meat protein. Only then they could fight.
Yeah,
So that could be one of the reasons. We don't know. Anyway, coming to this Kashmir Files, that's created. It's now touching 300 crores the box office collection. So the first time a small budget film has reached that stature.
Yeah,
So-
there are other small budget films also which have gone quite near it to it.
This
But
this has created
one,
a movement.
This one is basically more on a political side, and again, it has raised complaints of dividing the
Prejudice,
community in
bias,
India, bias. But then the only thing which I would go for is that at least this is a story which has come out, which has been brought out by a director.
I have not watched the film yet. Did you see it?
I have not watched it, but I've seen clips.
Okay, I've
and
seen clips, but
read
not
about
the
it.
film, yeah.
And I'm still waiting for some time to go, because it's not in many halls over here.
No,
They're
no.
in two extremes only. A story has been said which was not told by people for a long, long
That's
time,
about
and I'm surprised why it
32
was
years,
not
yeah.
told.
That's
It was
yes.
told.
Although there have been films on Kashmir, but without any mention of the word Kashmiri Pandits.
Pandits,
So,
yeah. And it is a bit graphic, and of course, I'm sure that the director would have taken some artistic
liberties if
to
possible.
portray things which could emotionalize people. So that way, the film has taken into the psyche of the people, at least the Hindus in India, and the reverse amongst the Muslims, and it has divided in a way which is not so good. But then it has done so. But one aspect I would say that here is a story which needed to be told.
See, the problem is the BJP is promoting the film. I mean, from the Prime Minister out, everybody.
Yeah.
But like Kejriwal pointed out one right thing. What has the BJP done in the last 7 or 8 years to
But why are you talking
settle-
about Kejriwal over here? Because in any
he was making fun of it, of course, but
yeah.
but then the central government has not done anything much to settle these pundits, isn't it?
yeah, that is
Although the
true.
pundits say that they are willing to return, but they are afraid to return. Still, whether conditions are not still safe for them.
Quite true. When I mean, even the Kashmiri and even some Muslims also are not so happy to go back. The rehabilitation of the entire valley has to be done in a very systematic way.
Yesterday also
And
one
it can be done in a day or two. It will take some time, especially when the infiltration and
It's still going on.
it's still going
The
on.
one police officer was killed yesterday
so-
of the Jammu and Kashmir police. I mean, they are also Muslims, isn't it? That's the thing. That's what is happening. So, I mean, it has been pointed out rightly that there are more Muslims have been killed than the Hindus
That is
in
the whole
Kashmir,
argument
see.
by the Muslim leaders today, that
Yeah,
why
because
are
true.
you talking about Kashmiri Pandits who were, you see, again, another thing is that Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out.
Yeah.
And in the process of throwing out, not the killings were not in that numbers because people ran away.
People ran, but the
People
Muslims who stayed, they were killed. They were killed.
And people, Muslims
Who are pro-India.
pro-India, they are being killed even today. They are being, so that argument of the Muslims,
That
they
also
cannot
can
deny.
be made into a film.
Films are made out of that. I've seen films on that, but you see, till now films are made more on that and less on this. So let's see. Let's see. It will create some flutter. It will continue to create some flutter, and I'm sure many more movies will start coming out on this.
That's what will happen. I think more such sort of exploratory of Indian history, historical facts which have been hidden, and I think more such stories will come
Your
out.
friend has already said that the benefits and the profits from Kashmir Files should go to the Kashmiri Pandits.
Kejriwal, yeah, Kejriwal did say that. He keeps jumping from one thing to the other.
He has brought a new sense of politics in India, and
I don't know for how long.
You have to keep watching him.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't know
you have
for
to
how
keep
long.
watching him because the youth have really.
But you see, he is a very slippery character. Even if he gets into some trouble, he'll get out of it. He will say something, he'll get out of it later. Apologize to people.
Hopefully, throws out another leader within the place
Yeah,
who is
that
a more
could be.
sensible.
Apparently, Bhagwant Mann is now going to have a virtual meeting with diaspora leaders here, the Sikh diaspora, of Punjabi leaders here in Canada. So
Lots of contribution went from here.
yeah, I think so. So that's what we'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, thank you for watching this interesting discussion with Ambassador Praveen Verma, and hope keep watching. We'll meet again next week. Yeah?
Next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.